He said he hated her. But hate doesn't look like that. Hate doesn't send messages at midnight. Hate doesn't book hotel rooms. And hate definitely doesn't create a child. If someone's words and actions don't match, believe their actions. I never thought the man I loved most in the world could be sleeping with the woman he claimed to hate more than anyone else on earth. It was a cold October evening in Chicago. The wind off Lake Michigan cut through the kitchen window like ice. Mark was locked away in his home office. I, Sarah, was washing dishes after dinner, my hands shaking from exhaustion. Lily, our 9-year-old daughter, had just gone to sleep. Tyler, 7, was still clutching his stuffed bear, asking, "Daddy, will you tell me a story?" Mark snapped, "Daddy's busy, son. Go to bed." I heard the sound of typing, then a soft ting, a new message. Mark's phone sat on the kitchen island, screen lighting up. I glanced over. The preview read, "Baby, I'm waiting for you at the hotel, room 312. Don't let your wife suspect anything this time." It was from Rebecca. Rebecca, the woman Mark hated more than anything. I froze. Dish soap dripped onto the floor. My heart felt like it was being squeezed in a vice. Rebecca Thompson, his co-worker. For 8 long years, Mark had done nothing but curse her name. That bitch ruined the entire project. She's ugly, lazy, and annoying as hell. Every night he'd come home, loosen his tie, crack open a beer, and start ranting. Rebecca made me want to lose my mind today. I hate her fucking face. I would rub his shoulders and comfort him, saying, "It's okay, honey. Maybe ask for a department transfer." And now, he was meeting her at a hotel. I picked up his phone. The passcode was still our wedding date, the 4th of July, 2015. It unlocked. Hundreds of messages, photos, videos. Rebecca smiling in lace lingerie, sending it to my husband. "I hate you in real life, but in bed you make me scream." Mark replied, "I hate you too, but I can't stop fucking you." I wanted to vomit. I wanted to scream, but I just stood there, silent tears falling onto the phone screen. Let me take you back to the beginning so you can feel exactly how deep this knife went. I met Mark in 2014 at a marketing conference downtown Chicago. I was 24, fresh out of college, working as a content creator for a small agency. Mark was 28, already an account manager, tall, charming, and quick with jokes. He'd wrap his arm around my waist as we walked along the Chicago River. We got married the following year in a simple ceremony at Millennium Park. I wore a white dress. He cried when he slipped the ring on my finger. I thought, this is the man who will love me forever. We bought a 2-story house in Lincoln Park. Lily and Tyler were born. Life looked like a dream. Mark climbed the corporate ladder fast. I worked freelance from home to take care of the kids. Every evening we'd sit down for dinner, and he'd tell me about his day. And there was always Rebecca. Rebecca Thompson, his co-worker in the same department. Mark had hated her from day one. He told me every detail, how she stole credit, talked behind people's backs, wore too much makeup, and had a fake laugh. "Looking at her face makes me want to throw up," he'd say. I believed him. I even started hating her too. When Mark came home late, I'd ask, "Did Rebecca cause trouble again?" He'd nod and sigh. "She exhausts me, babe." I comforted him. I made him soup. I massaged his shoulders. I thought I was being the perfect wife. But for the last 8 months, something had felt wrong. Mark started coming home later. He blamed it on late meetings because Rebecca screwed up the reports. His shirts carried a sweet, expensive perfume that wasn't mine. His phone was always face down. When I asked about Rebecca, he'd snap, "Don't even mention that bitch. I hate her so much I don't want to hear her name." But his voice would tremble. I began to wonder if I was just being paranoid. I even cried to my best friend. "Mark hates Rebecca so much, but why does he talk about her constantly?" She told me, "He's probably just stressed. Don't overthink it." I tried to believe her. I planned family weekends at the park. Mark would hug me and smile. "You're my everything, Sarah." But one night while he slept, I checked his laptop search history. Hotels near the office. How to delete iPhone messages. My blood ran cold. Then came that October night, the night I read the messages and my world shattered. I didn't cry loudly. I didn't scream. I just sank to the kitchen floor, clutching his phone, tears streaming down my face. Every single time he had cursed Rebecca, every rant about how much he hated her to his core, it was all a lie. He didn't hate her. He craved her. He needed her so badly that he hid it behind a wall of hatred. I kept scrolling. They had been having an affair for 3 years. 3 years! It started during a team-building trip to Wisconsin. Mark wrote, "I hate you at work, but when you take your clothes off, I forget everything." Rebecca replied, "I hate you too, but you're the only man who makes me feel like a woman." I read it all until my eyes blurred. There were photos of them hugging in the company parking lot, a short video of him kissing her in the elevator. And the worst message of all, Rebecca is pregnant. 3 months. It's yours. Your wife doesn't know anything. Ask. Pregnant. Mark's child. With the woman he claimed to hate most. I threw up right there into the trash can. My body shook violently. Lily called from upstairs. "Mommy, I'm thirsty." I wiped my mouth, went up, hugged her, sang her back to sleep, but inside my head, only one sentence repeated. Mark has a child with the woman he curses every single day. The next morning, I acted normal. I made coffee. I packed his lunch. I kissed his cheek as he left for work. He smiled and said, "Rebecca drove me crazy again today. I hate her so much." I smiled back, but my eyes were dead. "I know, honey." The second his car pulled away, I went to work. I called Rachel, the divorce lawyer I had secretly contacted 2 weeks earlier after my growing suspicion. She was direct, gather every piece of evidence. I copied everything. Messages. Photos. Bank transfers $1,500 every month to a private fund I thought was for the kid's future. It was actually going to Rebecca. I hired a private investigator. 2 days later, he sent me a video. Mark and Rebecca embracing in the Hilton Hotel elevator. Rebecca rubbing her pregnant belly. Mark kissing it. I watched that video 10 times. Each time felt like another stab to the heart. I remembered everything. The nights Mark came home sweaty, saying, "Meeting with Rebecca was exhausting." The times he told me, "Don't be jealous of Rebecca. Babe, I hate her." The moments I blamed myself. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I'm not attractive anymore. While he was on top of her, whispering, "I hate you, but I can't stop." The betrayal wasn't just pain. It was humiliation. It was feeling like a fool. It was being stabbed in the back by the one person I trusted most. The bigger twist came on the 4th day. I drove to Mark's office without warning. I smiled at the receptionist and took the elevator to the 12th floor. Rebecca was sitting at her desk, her pregnant belly clearly visible. Mark stood beside her, his hand on her shoulder, whispering something. When he saw me, his face turned ghostly white. I didn't yell. I spoke clearly, my voice steady but each word sharp as a blade. "Mark, you hate Rebecca so much that you had to get her pregnant?" The entire office went silent. 20 coworkers turned to stare. Rebecca covered her mouth. Mark stammered, "Sarah, baby, let me explain." I laughed a loud, bitter laugh. "Explain what? You hate her at the office but love her in hotel rooms? You curse her in front of your wife and kids, then rip her clothes off? You are the most pathetic man I've ever known." I held up my phone and played the video of them in the elevator. The whole room heard Rebecca moaning, "Mark, I hate you, but don't stop." Mark dropped to his knees, actually knelt. "Sarah, I was wrong. I do hate Rebecca, but she seduced me. I couldn't control myself. I still love you and the kids." I looked straight into his eyes, the eyes of the man I once loved. "You hate her? Or do you hate yourself for not being able to admit you're a liar and a cheat?" Rebecca stood up, tears streaming down her face. "Mark said he would divorce you. He said he hated you because you were boring." I turned to her. "And you believed him? You thought he loved you? He only hated you enough not to admit he's worthless." I walked out. I didn't look back. Behind me I heard Mark sobbing, coworkers whispering, and Rebecca screaming. I drove home through the rain. My tears mixed with the raindrops on the windshield. I cried from pain. I cried from anger. I cried for my innocent children. But most of all, I cried for myself, Sarah, the part of me that died that night. I moved the kids to my mother's house in Milwaukee. I changed the locks. I had the divorce papers served through Rachel. She was relentless. We had proof of adultery, a child out of wedlock, and secret financial transfers. Mark was fired for inappropriate workplace behavior. The video had spread through the entire company. 2 months later, Rebecca gave birth to a baby boy. Mark rushed to the hospital. Rebecca threw him out. She texted me, "I was fooled too. He said he hated you to cover everything up. Now I'm raising this child alone. You win." I didn't reply. I didn't need to win. I just needed to survive. Mark begged. He stood outside my mother's house in pouring rain, crying, "Sarah, I really did hate Rebecca. I needed that guilt to feel alive. I was wrong. Please forgive me." I opened the door and looked at him. My voice was ice cold. "You hated her? Or did you hate the fact that you couldn't be a decent husband? Either way, you've lost everything. The house, the kids, your reputation, and the wife who once believed you were her hero." He knelt in the rain. I closed the door. Today, I stand in my new kitchen in Milwaukee. Lily and Tyler are playing with Lego. They ask, "Where's Daddy?" I hug them tight and say, "Daddy is learning how to be a better person. Mommy is right here with you." I don't cry anymore. I'm stronger. I started my own freelance agency, and I'm earning more than before. I go to the gym. I smile more. I live for myself. Every time I drive past Chicago, I see the sign for Mark's old office building. I don't feel pain anymore. I just smile. Because he used to say, "I hate Rebecca so much I can't stand her." Turns out, he hated her. Enough to love her. As for me, I don't hate anyone anymore. I only pity him. And I'm proud of the woman I've become, the wife who was betrayed by a mask of hatred, but who rose up, held her head high, and can now tell the world, never trust a man who says he hates a woman. Sometimes that hate is just his way of hiding the dirtiest kind of love. My name is Sarah. I survived. And I will never again let any man, husband, or enemy define my worth.